the suppression, the use of marijuana. The suppression, the use of marijuana. The suppression, the use of marijuana.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Aaron Glenn Watch Party, because Aaron Glenn is in the building today at One Jets Drive, and there's a chance that he can get hired today. Will it happen? Is it guaranteed? No, but I think it will. I really, really do. We're going to be live talking about this up until it happens. Maybe. You never know. All right. I'm excited for this show. Everybody hit the like button right now on your way in. Big shout out to BetUS, as always, for sponsoring Jets Media all off season long. Let's go, man. There's a lot of people talking about this. Is this the right move for the New York Jets? Is it the wrong move? Is he qualified for the job? Jets fans are butting heads, and I'm excited to share my thoughts, okay? And share my opinions and have an open discussion with Jets fans and all fans across the globe talking about this. First thing I want to do is put a poll up in the chat, because I am very curious to see where the majority lies in my chat, all right? So do you want Aaron Glenn to be hired as the Jets' next head coach? Woo! Do you want Aaron Glenn to be hired as the next Jets head coach, baby? We live across multiple platforms. Shout out to my viewers on Instagram. Shout out to my viewers on X. Shout out to my viewers on YouTube. Come to YouTube, folks. That's where the real party is. All right? The party is on YouTube. For the people that are on YouTube, shout out to you. Smash that like button for me. Would appreciate that big time. Hit the like button on your way in, man. We're just getting started. Aaron Glenn. Will the Jets hire him today? Of course, we also have to talk about Lance Newmark as a potential GM candidate. I want to talk about Lance Newmark. I want to talk about Aaron Glenn and talk about all things we need to know about these specific candidates. And I'm thinking to myself, do I get my hopes up about hiring them? But what if we don't? You know, what if we don't hire them? What if the interview goes crap? There goes me spiraling into a negative mindset. But what if they don't hire him? What if he walks and goes to New Orleans, and then what's plan B? I don't know, man. I think it's going to happen. I think the stars are aligning. We also have rumors from Connor Hughes, who I respect, about the coaching staff he may be assembling, a defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator. That is definitely a big topic that a lot of people are curious. If we do bring in Aaron Glenn, who is going to be the positional coaches? So there's a lot to get into, man. So much. And I'm excited to do it right here with you all. Zach Rosenblatt said the locker room would be excited for a Glenn hire. Yes. If you guys did not know, I posted on X saying, repost this if you want Aaron Glenn as the next Jets head coach. And Jermaine Johnson went out of his way to repost it to let his opinion be out there in the public that he wants him. He wants him. That's a pretty big deal. A current Jet player reposting it. Also, Quinnen Williams commented on the Jets Instagram post of saying we completed an interview with Aaron Glenn, and he put the two crossing fingers emojis, crossing his fingers that Aaron Glenn gets hired. So you're telling me that the Jets players want him? I would say the majority of Jets fans, not every Jets fan wants him, which is okay. But I think that out of all of the candidates, somebody please tell me another guy that you would prefer over him. I've heard some people say they prefer Brian Flores or maybe talking to Mike McCarthy, right? There's a lot of other options, but when it comes to being qualified for a position, it's a no-brainer. And I also want to talk about this narrative right here. Let's hope he's not Saleh 2.0, right? I really want to let it be known why I personally think this is not going to be the same situation as Robert Saleh. What Aaron Glenn did in Detroit is very different than what Robert Saleh did in San Francisco. And also their journeys are completely different. Number one, Robert Saleh was not a former player in this league like Aaron Glenn is. That's number one. Aaron Glenn is a 3-time Pro Bowler. By the way, drafted by the New York Jets, tied to the organization. That's number one. Number two, Aaron Glenn started off his coaching career as a personnel scout with the New York Jets, by the way. Saleh was never in the scouting department. So right there, those are two things that Glenn has at experience that Robert Saleh did not have. And then he became a quality control coach. That's something Saleh did with Seattle. And then he became an assistant defensive backs coach with New Orleans, became the official defensive backs coach over there before becoming the defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn has more experience and more qualifications, and he was built to become a head coach. Not to take anything away from Robert Saleh here, but I feel like the difference of bringing Robert Saleh to the Jets is you're hiring Saleh to build an elite defensive unit and try to preach a culture. Where Aaron Glenn, you're not hiring him to be an elite defensive brain. It's not you're not hiring Aaron Glenn for a scheme. Brian Flores, however, you're hiring for a defensive scheme. Aaron Glenn, you're not hiring him for his schematics and his coaching, play calling and stuff. That's not who makes Aaron Glenn. The reason why I love him is because I feel like he's qualified based off of his resume, that he's done every single step. He's been in the shoes of every layer of an organization, so he can relate to the personnel scouts. He can relate to the quality control coaches. He can relate to the assistants. He can relate to the positional coaches. He can relate to the coordinators. Aaron Glenn has lived through every single step, which is why that's why I really think that he's qualified for it. And, you know, he was on the pivot. I think it was during the season or was it last offseason? I'm not sure. And he explained his story, and it really moved me, how he got into coaching and the steps it took for him to get to where he is today. So it's going to be interesting, man. Jack with a first super chat of the show. Jack says, Richie, don't call me crazy, but we needs to send a third to New England for Joe Milton. Bro has everything to be great. Please look at his film. Interesting. If you're New England, I don't know if you're ready to ship off a potential, good backup quarterback. Excuse me. Obviously, Drake May is their franchise QB that they're excited about right now. Listen, the Jets' new front office, they're going to be thinking about quarterback. I tell you that much. And I don't know who it's going to be. Could it be Joe Milton in a potential trade? I'll tell you this. Joe Milton's not coming to the Jets. I'm just going to say it right. I'm going to keep it a buck. But hey, you got to talk about every possibility. LaSalle, anyone else want to do a Cliff Kingsbury-style offense? A Cliff Kingsbury-style offense, LaSalle, requires a Jaden Daniels. It requires an athletic, mobile quarterback, number one. And we don't have that. I mean, we have Jordan Travis, who I would say he is athletic and is mobile, but we don't know anything about the kid, Jordan Travis, in the next level. But yeah, so let's get straight into the coordinators, because there's a lot of coordinators that are actually linked to this job for the New York Jets, by the way. There are. So LaSalle, thank you for the $2 super chat, as always. So let's get straight into it. Let's start off with the offensive coordinator. All right, let's start off with the offensive coordinator. Let me get this on the screen for you guys real quick. Let me get this on the screen. Boom, boom, remove. Let's add a media slot, and boom. All right, so as you see on your screen right here, guys, the two offensive coordinators, according to Connor Hughes, is right here. Nick Cali and Scott Turner are two options for the New York Jets that they are considering. Now, these are two very intriguing names to me. Nick Caley is someone that I would prefer, for sure. The reason for that is I feel like you look at anybody that comes from the Sean McVay tree, I'm all in on. This is someone that the New England Patriots tried to hire themselves, and he declined to go there. Okay. So again, this is if Aaron Glenn does get hired. This is a potential name to watch. Nick Caley, he's the tight ends coach and the pass game coordinator. Sean McVay is one of my personal favorite coaches in the NFL. He has been since he went there to the Rams. And I feel like, Kevin O'Connell comes from the Sean McVay tree. There's a lot of coaches that get jobs that are successful. And he is working under Mike LaFleur, which is interesting, former Jet. He's an offensive coordinator for the Rams. Very intriguing name that I feel like would be good. And then Scott Turner is another interesting name. He became the interim offensive coordinator for the Raiders, I believe. He was with Washington under Ron Rivera. So those are two names that apparently Aaron Glenn has been looking into to be the next offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. I know that's a big deal. That's a big deal, the OC, because when you hire a defensive mind, basically the offensive coordinator is the head coach of that side of the ball. So out of those two, who would you guys prefer? If those two are the guys, by the way, it's not guaranteed that it's going to be one of those two. That's just according to Connor Hughes, what he's heard. Flick Shorts with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Y'all going to get Adam Gase or Matt Nagy. Get out of here with that nonsense, Flick Shorts. You wish you were looking for a new coach. You wish. Come on, man. You wish. Shout out to Flick Shorts, though, for the super chat, my friend. Appreciate you. We got someone on Twitch right now. Let's go. I hope we don't let him walk out the building, Richie. It's mute. Is this you, Ness? Or who is this? This is one of the people I know that went to, or is this LaSalle? I can't tell. Who are you? We're on Twitch right now. I forgot. It is Ness, my boy. Let's go, bro. Appreciate you tuning in on Twitch. We got Raiders fans in the chat. Let's get Nick Caley. Now, we also found out who the defensive coordinator could be as well, which I find interesting. Here's the potential defensive coordinator to watch get the job, and that is going to be Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks could be the defensive coordinator with Aaron Glenn, and the reason why I like Steve Wilks as a potential candidate to be the defensive coordinator is he has head coach experience, 2 stints as a head coach. Aaron Glenn is a first-time head coach if he gets the job with the Jets, and I think it would be pretty dope to have a guy that has 2 head coaching experiences. Now, you can say, oh, well, he failed in San Francisco. He got let go. He was gifted he was Robert Saleh's replacement, and then they let him go. I mean, he coached a defense to the Super Bowl last year. They finished, 7th or 8th in the NFL on defense. I think Steve Wilks as a defensive coordinator under Aaron Glenn, you can sell me on it. Absolutely. Again, not a guarantee that this is the guy, but according to Connor Hughes, this is who the Jets are researching to get in as a defensive coordinator. And you look at Connor Hughes, he also had something else to say about Lance Newmark right here. So, talk to a couple league sources. Lance Newmark is extremely close with Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. He was expected to follow Johnson to the Raiders if that were to happen. When Ben Johnson took the Chicago Bears gig, that opened up a path for him to join Aaron Glenn with the Jets. I do believe this all could be wrapped up today. Newmark is a football lifer, worked in the NFL for 28 years, told he's highly respected across NFL for the time he's put in. So that's pretty interesting stuff there. Lance Newmark almost could have went to the Las Vegas Raiders if Ben Johnson hired him. But no, he's staying put. And he could potentially come to the New York Jets. So that's a name to watch out for, is Lance Newmark as the Jets GM to pair up. Cool thing about Lance Newmark is he was part of that Detroit Lions draft class that was phenomenal. One specific player that they drafted that he was really high on, Kirby Joseph, safety that they took in the 3rd round from Illinois. He became an All-Pro this year. He's been with the Detroit Lions for a long time. And you think about it from this perspective. Washington, they have a brand new owner, brand new GM, right? And they had to build a new front office. Adam Peters became the new general manager for the Washington Commanders. And Adam Peters wanted to build his front office. And Adam Peters, who is one of the most respected guys in the NFL right now, he went out there to go out of his way to hire Lance Newmark to be his assistant, who was with the Lions for a long time. He went out of his way to interview and hire Lance Newmark to be his assistant GM. And then they turn around the Commanders like that. They find their franchise quarterback. They build through the draft. They got good veterans. The signing of Frankie Louvu, former Jet Pro Bowler. They got Bobby Wagner. They turned the team into a caliber to go to the NFC Championship. So Lance Newmark was part of two organizations that changed the dynamic, the Lions and the Commanders. He's also had his hands on in the 2016 Lions draft class when they drafted Glasnow and those guys. So I like Lance Newmark as an option with Aaron Glenn if it all happens. No guarantee it happens, of course, but we shall see. We shall see, man. Spielman as president of football ops would also be a key addition to our organization and culture. I would love that, but I don't see it happening because I'm going to give you guys a pop quiz. I know for a fact there's people in the chat that know the answer to this, but I'm going to quiz you guys. What is the name of the current Jets football operations? Because there's a man that's part of this team, that's part of all these interviews, that we already have a head of football of operations, but no one talks about him. Let's see who gets it right in the chat first. What's his name? We have a president. It's not Woody Johnson. Bingo. Tyler is first. Jaime. We have someone. It's not like we fired him. He's still the president. So I don't think the Jets are going to replace him. And he's in on it. Like, his role is football operations. I know he works as the business side of things. Me personally, I want him gone. What has he done? I would love to bring in Chris Spielman, a new brain as the business side of things. Me personally, yes. Phil Savage, he's the interim GM for the New York Jets right now. That's Phil Savage's role. So I would love Chris Spielman and Lance Newmark to come to the Jets front office. Trust me. Jaime is not a football guy. That's where our culture sucks. Yeah, I don't like Jaime at all. He's done nothing positive for the Jets. Come on. Phil Savage is a cool name. It is. 23 years of crap Lions, and you want to say he was part of 5 good years? Come on. Well, he didn't have the main role for the Lions in those 26 years. He built up. He worked his way up. And then when he worked his way up to the top, that's when the Lions turned things around. That's when the Commanders turned things around. So obviously you think of his resume, you hear 26 years with the Lions, you're like, well, the Lions stunk forever, so he must stink. He wasn't the GM. He was a scout. He was working his way up the ranks. He learned a lot, of course. Now, is Lance Newmark the most qualified guy out there? No. Is he a splash signing? No. But I don't think the Jets need to make a splash at a big name. They need to find someone that fits what this Jets team's looking for. And in the recent memory, Lance Newmark, why do you think Adam Peters went out of his way to hire him? Let me ask the people that are doubting Lance Newmark as a potential GM for the Jets. Why would Adam Peters, who again is very, very high up there in terms of leadership, go out there and want to hire Lance Newmark as his assistant if he's not qualified, if he was part of a losing organization forever? Come on. That's something that I feel like you gotta realize. You gotta realize. Why would Adam Peters go out of his way to hire him? So I'm not saying we should be popping champagne if we hire Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not going to be doing that. But it's an opportunity for excitement. I also know that a lot of Jets fans are sick and tired of the same story on repeat. We get a new coach in the building, and then all of a sudden, we have this new blind hope and belief. Some people want to see proof, right, before they get excited. I get all that. But I'm someone I'm a Jets fan. Like, I'm not someone that's going to root against. Like, I see some people saying they're going to root against the Jets as a Jets fan if they hire Aaron Glenn. I'm never someone to tell you how to be a fan, but what? You're going to root against Aaron Glenn so he fails to prove your point that you were right? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I do not want Justin Fields. I do not want the New York Jets to sign Justin Fields. But if the Jets sign Justin Fields, I will be rooting for that man and hoping he turns this team around and becomes a great quarterback for the Jets. Just because I don't want Justin Fields doesn't mean I'm going to turn on him. He's a Jet. Oh, screw Fields. I hope he sucks. I hope, just to prove I'm right. Prove me wrong. You know, that's how I look at it. Prove me wrong. I'm never that type of fan. I got to be proven right. Come on. I don't want Justin Fields, but if we get him, I'm a Justin Fields fan. He's a Jet. Come on. So there's a lot of talking heads in this Jets fan base. There's a lot of strong opinions, and I understand why and where it's coming from. We've been bad for a long time, and Jets fans are sick of losing. There's nothing wrong with us having our own opinions, and there's nothing wrong of being a fan the way you want to be a fan. But I'm just saying how I fan. That's how I fan. I would never root against my team. Never. Even during the tank mode seasons. I still don't do it. Come on. Let's do it. All right. At the end of the day, we got to see this new regime come in here and establish a culture. And we also can all agree with this. This upcoming season, expectations are not high. No matter who we bring in. The expectations are no longer winning the division like we thought we could this year or anything. Jets Media Day should be interesting next season. Absolutely, Smoke Champ. Shout out to all the people that went to Jets Media Day this past season. We did 3 years of Jets Media Day. This next season will be year number 4. If you do not know what Jets Media Day is, I host an event at a home Jets game every single year. We've done it 3 years in a row. You buy a ticket with me. We all have an awesome tailgate experience. I do a live show from the tailgate you guys have access to. We get access to the field as well. And we all sit together to watch the Jets play in a suite. So that Jets Media Day 2025, obviously we have a long way to go before that gets scheduled. We got to see the schedule and all that. But yeah, I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. Jets Media Day was fire. Shout out to my boy. Do we have anybody in the chat that was at Jets Media Day this year? Let me know. Hopefully it's not raining next season. Yeah, fun fact. 2 out of the 3 Jets Media Days, it was raining. The first one was like the best day. It was bright, sunny day. It's when we beat the Dolphins 40-17. Oh, that was a great event. And then the next 2 seasons, it rained. Come on, why are you raining on my day? Luckily, we are in a suite, though, this past year. So the rain didn't really affect us too much because we were able to hide underneath. Would a high second-round pick be enough to get J.J. McCarthy? Absolutely not. They drafted him in the first round. They're not going to give him up for a second. Way more. Way more. You'll need. Richie, me and Anthony are planning on Jets Media Day 2025, bro. King Jamie, let's go. I'm excited to have you there. Jeffrey's in the chat. What's up, man? Appreciate you. Jaro in the chat, $5. Richie, there's no coincidence that we've hired DCs the last 25 years and we can never, ever develop a young quarterback. It's insanity. Give me McCown then. No, I don't want to be the one to say it, but who's the last offensive coordinator that we hired? Adam Gase. Now, when we hired Adam Gase, I think every Jets fan knew it was a mistake, including me. I did not like that hire. That's like right when I started this channel was when we got Adam Gase. But I understand the notion of hiring an offensive mind, but look at Sean McDermott, defensive mind. Dan Quinn, defensive mind. They're in the championship game. So there's proof that defensive minds can win in this league. And Josh McCown, I love Josh McCown, but I don't think he's ready to be the head coach yet. I really don't. You never know, though. You never know. Is Jordan Travis still hurt? I don't know. He did have a setback, unfortunately, but we'll see. All right, let's see what is going on. We have Jordan Schultz saying, as I mentioned last week, there is a strong contingent of people within the Jets building who believe Aaron Glenn is the answer. While the decision ultimately comes down to Woody Johnson, it's worth noting that Glenn's unique leadership qualities are the type of traits Johnson is seeking in terms of what a culture change would represent. Let's see if it can happen. Will it happen or not? I really think it's going to happen today, folks. I think it could happen while I'm on the huddle. It could happen while I'm on the huddle. Pound that like button. How many likes do we have smashed? Let's see. How many like buttons do we have smashed? 80 thumb buttons. Hit it. Hit it. Let's go. Come on, baby. This could be the day that the New York Jets find their next head coach. If you guys did not know, I am going to the Senior Bowl next week. I'll be in Alabama. Your boy's going to Alabama, which is why I really hope that we make the decision this week. So I'm home covering the Jets head coach and GM hiring now. So when I'm on the road in Alabama, I don't got to worry about it, even though I may miss the press conference and all that. But the Senior Bowl is happening. I got approved for credentials on behalf of Roundtable Sports, and I'll be there covering it. If there's anybody that's going to the Senior Bowl in terms of prospects that you guys want me to keep an eye on, please feel free to let me know, because I'm excited to scout and put on my scouting hat, make some connections, meet some people. Do it. Saints postponed the interview with Glenn because of the snow. New Orleans, you ain't getting him anyway, so don't even worry. Who's going to be Glenn's OC? So we talked about this at the top of the show. Connor Hughes reported that there's two names to watch out for in a potential Aaron Glenn hire. Nick Haley and Scott Turner. Two names that are linked to the New York Jets, according to Connor Hughes. You could assume, right? Like Ben Johnson was just hired, and he immediately hired his coaching staff. So Aaron Glenn obviously has been working on his own coaching staff for quite some time. So he's been making calls, probably called these two individuals to see if they're interested. Interesting to see if anyone's going to be here. And I'm very curious to see how this coaching staff gets rounded out. First of all, there's a lot that needs to happen before we even hire Aaron Glenn. He needs to come here. He needs to figure out if this is the right spot. There's a lot of things. A lot of things. What about Clint Kubiak as OC? Yeah, you can sell me on Clint Kubiak. You definitely can. Experienced in this league for a long time. But I don't know if that's going to be the guy. Richie, no more Keith Carter. Oh, my God. Get him out of here, George. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Come on. Richie, I think we can trust Woody will do the right thing. Do we, though? Do we trust Woody to do the right thing? Woody Johnson has a chance to save his name. You guys realize that? Woody Johnson has a chance to save his name. Right here, right now. Do I have trust in Woody Johnson? Right now, I do not. But you could win my trust, Woody. If you hire the right head coach, you hire the right GM, and you step away, you let them do their work, and if they succeed, you're good. Right? But obviously, it's a lot easier said than done. We got to deal with the New York media. They got to deal with me. I guess I'm part of the media now. But it's going to be interesting, bro. Tyler says, Richie, what offensive-minded head coach do these people want? Brady, Cliff, Monken, and Cohen all haven't made themselves available yet, if at all. Don't get me started with Arthur Smith, McCown, or McCarthy. Yeah, I mean, we interviewed Joe Brady. We did not even request to interview Monken, Cohen, or Cliff. So Arthur Smith we interviewed, McCown we interviewed. Like Joe Brady, I don't know if he's I don't know. He's done a tremendous job with Buffalo, don't get me wrong. Pete Carroll should have been the choice. Now, this is something I am very shocked that the Jets did not even interview Pete Carroll. That tells me that Pete Carroll just has no interest. We requested Joe Brady, but we didn't interview him yet. So, yeah, the Jets requested Joe Brady, but did not interview him yet. There is nothing special about Glenn. Nothing. I disagree with that. Aaron Glenn, you know how important it is for a coach to be a former player and a former scout? The guy has knowledge in every single department. That is what a leader needs to be. He needs to relate to his scouting department. He needs to relate with his assistant coaching staff. He needs to relate with the players. He's a former successful NFL player, a former personnel scout from the Jets, a former quality control coach, a former assistant defensive backs coach, a former defensive backs coach, and a DC. More than qualified. I think that what Aaron Glenn's doing right now and what he's been building up to be is a guy that can relate to players, unlock new potential in them. And I know everyone's going to say, yeah, but what about Saleh, dude? I also don't think that he'd be the play caller on defense. You're not hiring Aaron Glenn for his quote-unquote elite defensive mind. That's not why you're getting him, in my opinion. You also have to realize the defensive coordinator role and the head coach role, two completely different worlds. Like a completely different world. And I'd put myself out there and say, and I said this months ago, this is not just because the Jets are linked to Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn is more qualified to be a head coach than Ben Johnson. But the offensive side of the ball is more flashy, it's more fun, it's trendy. Even some Lions fans will say that. Like, you look at Ben Johnson's resume compared to Aaron Glenn's resume, where they both came from and how they built themselves up to the position that they're at. The coordinator position is so different than a head coach. Aaron Glenn has all the qualifications, in my opinion, that makes him ready to be the head of the ship. He retired as a player, and then he went into the restaurant business world. You know what? I'll just play it for you guys. I'll play a video for you guys. I'm sure some of you guys already saw it, but if you didn't, I definitely want you guys to see it yourself. So this is Aaron Glenn on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark and the boys talking about his story, right? He basically talks about where he was in his life after he retired as a player, and he was not in football. He was basically doing restaurant business. And then he had a revelation of, wait, I love this game. I got to go into coaching. And then he explains why he got into coaching and where he is today. So it's a really interesting insight. Shout out to the Pivot podcast for this. Let's play it right here, right now.
Why jump right back into this?
Man, I'm gonna tell you guys that I'm gonna try to make this a quick story. So, and a lot of people don't even know this about me. Retired in 2008. Man, I owned 8 restaurants from 2008 to 2011. All right, you guys they're called Frenchies in Houston. Yeah, I actually owned 8 of them at one point. And they were doing well. Man, I actually had one in the Texan Stadium. All right, I had one right across the street, right from the Texas. So the players used to always come over and eat. Man, it was like a club on Sundays. All right, it was good and it was doing well. So, man, I'm at home. It's probably 2010. I'm at home and I'm watching SportsCenter or something like that. And man, I am cursing the TV out. I'm watching somebody play and I'm just cursing the TV out. They should have done this. They should have done that. All right. And my wife's sitting there and she was like, AG. I'm like, what? She said, go coach.
Right.
I'm like,
Wow.
What do you mean? She said, listen, it's cool you doing your restaurant thing, right? And you like that, but you love ball. You love ball. And man, when I tell you a weight was off my shoulders after that, because I was like most guys, you know, coming out, man, I have to be this big time businessman. I have to sit behind a desk wearing a suit and tie. And man, that wasn't me. You know, and I'm doing something that I liked, but I didn't love. And I want to make sure if I do something, man, my heart got to be in it. And once she told me that, I jumped right in it, man. And at that point, There's a saying I always say, I didn't stick my toe in the water to see if it was cold. I jumped right on in there. Right. And I scouted, in-house scout with the Jets a couple of years. Then I went on the road.
Jets.
I was driving for hours, right? College scouting. Then I went right to being an assistant DB coach. I did my QC thing because I want to make sure I didn't miss one step. I want to start from the bottom. I told everybody I was there, don't treat me any different than anybody else, right? Because I want to understand everything there is about the scouting process. I want to know everything about being a QC. I want to know everything about being an assistant coach, all right, to a lead DB coach, to a defense coordinator I am right now, right? And I'm hoping to be a head coach at some point. So I didn't want to miss one step. So you can't tell me that I haven't seen it, just like with a player.
I mean, come on. That is something that really, this is why I want Aaron Glenn. I mean, he just broke it down, bro. He's been building himself up to be a head coach. He knew he needed to start it from ground one. And I love that he started off as a scout. You know how unique that is? That he has living experience of being a scout, driving across the country for hours, going to colleges, scouting these guys. Like, he's going to be able to have an eye for talent in the draft. He's going to be able to relate to football players. He's going to be able to relate to his own scouts that he hires. He's going to be able to relate to the quality control coach. He's going to be able to relate to all these guys. Like, he's lived through all of the roles required to operate a football team. This is why I think he's qualified to be a head coach. People need to stop thinking that just because you're an elite coordinator, that makes you a great head coach. I could not disagree with that more. Just because you can be a great offensive mind and call offensive plays does not mean you can run the entire organization. Same thing with coordinators. And by the way, there's no guarantee Aaron Glenn's going to work. I'm not sitting here and trying to convince anybody that he's going to be the Jets' Mike Tomlin or whatever the case may be. But I personally look at his resume and I think that this is the guy that has ties to the organization, can relate to players by being a former successful player, can relate to his scouts by being a former scout, can relate to his assistant coaching staff. I like it. That's a resume. That's a resume that I can get behind for sure. That's why when people say Saleh 2.0, I disagree. His resume is totally different than Saleh. Totally. Robert Saleh tried to emulate his defensive mindset into the offense, play with violence. That was Saleh's mantra. You play with violence, right? No, didn't work. The difference between Robert Saleh, hold on one second. Sorry, my wire was caught on my chair. But, I'll be the first to admit, I wanted Robert Saleh. A lot of the fan base wanted Robert Saleh. We got him. We were excited about it, and he failed. But what did Robert Saleh do with this Jets team? He built an elite defense, and he was unable to build an offense, which eventually got him fired, right? And a lot of other reasons in between the lines. Now, we need to make sure that Aaron Glenn could support the offense, and let's not forget another thing that Aaron Glenn said that I'll put up right here. Aaron Glenn talked about that he will be coaching up on the offensive side of the ball, just like the defensive side of the ball, which I think is very, very important. You need to be able to coach. Check this out, guys.
Here's the one thing that I would say about myself. I'm a coach. I just happen to be on defense. I understand the offense just as well as a number of people. So if you want to hire me, you're going to hire a coach. You're not going to hire a defensive coach. Here's the one thing that, so if you want to hire me, you're going to hire a coach. You're not going to hire a defensive coach. I'm going to talk to the offense just as much as I'm going to talk to the defense.
So obviously these are just words, and you got to see it before you can believe it. I get all that. But Saleh had zero say on offense. Zero. His first time becoming hands-on on offense was this past season. You guys remember that? Robert Saleh said, I'm going to have hands-on approach to the offense this year. Where was that from the start, Coach Saleh? Where was that? That's the difference. People keep saying, didn't you say the same thing about Saleh? So I understand the hesitation that, number one, Aaron Glenn doesn't have head coaching experience, but his resume makes him more than qualified. And by the way, I forgot to mention another key component to my reasoning for Aaron Glenn. His relationship with Bill Parcells. If you're a Jets fan, you think of the best coach that you witness as a fan, who do you think of? Who do you think of? Huh? Let me know. Who do you think of? I think that's where you got to look at it. Like Webb Eubank, of course, winning the Super Bowl is technically the best Jets coach of all time. Only one to win the Super Bowl. But Bill Parcells brought the Jets back. And Aaron Glenn was a player underneath him. And Aaron Glenn still has a relationship with Bill Parcells to this day. I mean, you're telling me, like, there's ties with the Jets. That's why I love it. Another reason why I love Aaron Glenn. He wants this job. There's nobody else on the market that wants the job as much as Aaron Glenn, besides Rex Ryan, but that was never going to happen. He wants the job. He embraces the Jets, Jets. He was coached under Bill Parcells as a player. He was with the Jets as the pro scout. He learned under Sean Payton. He learned under Dan Campbell. Come on. Bill Parcells was the last coach that was legit for this Jets team. Of course, Rex Ryan was the last one to actually give them playoff success. You got to show him some love. But come on, man. So I think that's another thing. And the fact that he has ties to the Jets and he wants this job. Do you guys remember the narrative around the New York Jets when all the hit piece articles about Woody Johnson kept coming out in the season? That nobody's going to want this job. Nobody. And I understand why that was a narrative. We're seeing toxic workplace. Why would a guy want to go work under Woody Johnson if this is the type of things that goes on? So you're telling me Aaron Glenn wants to take on the challenge? I love that. I respect that. I respect that, man. 100%. Which is why we all need to come together and realize that this could be an opportunity for Aaron Glenn. This really, really could. We shall see. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but Aaron Glenn, like someone mentioned, Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards is another man you got to bring up. I believe Herm Edwards coached Aaron Glenn his last season with the Jets, because Herm Edwards was hired in 2001, right? And Herm Edwards was hired in 2001. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you're telling me Aaron Glenn played under both Bill Parcells and Herm Edwards with the Jets. I think he played under Herm, but it was last year. But it could have been, I could be wrong there. Again, I wasn't a Jets fan at the time. I was 2 years old. All right. So, honestly, man, we should go with the guy that wants to be here. That passion combined with his resume. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, if you're a Jets fan that's hesitant on Aaron Glenn, I get it. But doesn't the idea of him wanting to be here, doesn't that kind of hype you up a little bit? Doesn't that make you like, oh, wow, this guy actually wants this job? That's pretty cool. I think it's freaking awesome, man. I really do. Especially with all the hit pieces and all the people talking about us. Now, let's transition to a brand new topic. Let's talk about a brand new topic, guys. I know that we are getting ahead of ourselves, but if the Jets hire Aaron Glenn, do we want Aaron Rodgers to return? Do we want Aaron Glenn to keep Aaron Rodgers? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Will Aaron Rodgers be back with Aaron Glenn? If you're Aaron Glenn, do you want to create another huge hole on that at that spot, or run it back with Aaron Rodgers, draft the quarterback, run it back one more time, be like, you know what? This team was a failure last year because of coaching, and I'm going to change it. Because somebody give me an alternative that's better than Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback spot. I'll wait. I know that's a polarizing topic. I know some people want nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. I get that. But I'm seriously don't know an alternative. There's no free agent out there that is better than Aaron Rodgers. Like, keep Devontae Adams, keep Aaron Rodgers, extend Garrett Wilson. You got the talent on offense. The offensive line is pretty much built. You just need to add depth and a right tackle. You need to add some tight ends. Definitely get another receiver. In the defense, you need safety help. You need cornerback help. The cool thing about AG is that he's a defensive backs guy. So I think the development of Sauce Gardner is going to benefit. Did we ever think about that, guys? The idea of AG developing Sauce, who's coming off a down year? Sauce Gardner's coming off a down year, which, by the way, is not as bad as some people think, but for his standards, it's bad. AG developing Sauce and a potential CB2 and some safeties, I like it. So I think if they don't bring back Aaron, if they decide, yeah, we want to move away from him, that's just going to make another huge hole and make this next season even that much more difficult. Right? Is there anybody that objects to that? Anybody? Please let me know. Especially the thing about Aaron Rodgers that we heard from himself is that, number one, he's willing to take a pay cut. Number two, he's willing to develop a quarterback if they draft one. I think that's great. I think Aaron Rodgers being willing to do that matters. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. That Aaron Rodgers said he's willing to take a pay cut. And that's basically the only way the Jets can bring him back. The new Jets front office got to talk to him and be like, hey, man, we want you, but your contract is ridiculous. So we're going to have to, restructure your deal, free up some money so we can make this work. And we're also going to draft a quarterback, and you're going to have to help us develop him. And those are the things that Aaron's going to have to say yes to. But there's also a scenario where Aaron doesn't want back. What if Rodgers says, yeah, I went into the darkness again, and I don't even want to play. I don't want to play. I want to retire. That's a big chance. That could happen. That could happen. So there's a lot of alternatives that the Jets, I'm sure, are going to have to consider here. Aaron Glenn and Aaron Rodgers in New Orleans as a Saint. Sorry, not happening. Rodgers can no longer run this show. He won't. I really don't think so. Joe Douglas traded for Aaron Rodgers, and he tried to build the team around him that would make Rodgers as comfortable as he possibly can, and it failed. Completely failed. You can't bring in Rodgers' boys anymore. You have his main best friend here already, Devontae, and that's all you need. You don't need Hackett. You don't need Randall Cobb. Lazard you can get rid of. So and there's so many opportunities for the Jets to target some guys in the NFL draft. We haven't even talked about the draft yet on my channel. We haven't even talked about the draft yet, which is nuts. I'm excited to talk about it. All right, so Pat McAfee has this latest feature on Aaron Glenn. Let's listen into what Pat McAfee has to say about it.
Aaron Glenn, though, allegedly going to be the next head coach of the New York Jets. AJ, how do you feel about that? They had Salah, defensive guy, as the head coach. Now they have another potential defensive coordinator going over there to be the head coach. Aaron Glenn knows the area, so that's a head start. What are your thoughts on AG going back to NY and /NJ?
I think it makes sense. I really do. When you think about it, I mean, the Jets, everything that we have heard is what goes on in the front office from the end of the season. It feels like they need some kind of stabilizing force in there. I think it always helps when you have a connection there. He played there. He was a great player in the league. Players absolutely respect the dude. And he seems to be a good mix of a great defensive mind, but also a dude that knows how to build culture, how to speak to a team, how to hold guys accountable. So I would imagine Aaron Glenn is very, very good in the interview process.
Yeah, I got a chance to tap him up whenever the Lions played against Colts. Remember, I was doing a sideline hit for NFL Game Day Morning. Came in through the Lions entrance tunnel. So I walked out either right before Dan Campbell walked out. So I got a chance to kind of see that. I walked out at the same time as Aaron Glenn. He came over, dabbed me up. I said, "Hey, you're doing a great job." Cool, man. Kelvin Shepard came over. Antoine Randall came and gave me he was a little bit too aggressive with the high five.
So he is.
I love
That's
him.
who it is.
Yeah, he's got good juice. We've never met before out from Pittsburgh, obviously, so I'm appreciative of what he did for the Steel City, but he came out and gave me a full on, so it was like cool to see them. But Aaron Glenn, they show a picture of him on the sideline. He's just sitting on the bench, just chilling, just absolutely chilling. Then that defense with all the injuries, still bringing it.
Yep.
Biggest game of the year for the NFC #1 seed against Minnesota Vikings. Blitzed more than any team in the entire NFL all season long. It's like, he's a dude. Like, Aaron Glenn is a leader, I think, of men.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see him if he gets the opportunity over there in New York.
Yeah, and then that becomes probably the most important offensive coordinator hire, right, so far in the cycle, just because they are either going to go with Aaron or we'll have to kind of start over with a young quarterback.
Hey, realistically, we all assume they're moving on from Aaron, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Right at the end, Pat McAfee said, we're all assuming they're moving on from Aaron. So that's an interesting tidbit. And if there's anybody that knows what's happened with Aaron Rodgers, it's probably those people at the Pat McAfee show. I don't know. Did he just spoil it? That the Jets already made their decision on Aaron Rodgers, that we're moving on from him. But yeah, they had some interesting thoughts about it. I think that was a good insight from them to talk about Aaron Glenn and his possibility to be the Jets head coach. I like it. I like it a lot, man. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? You guys like Jalen Milroe in the draft? I see some people say Will Howard. Will Howard would be an interesting pick. Aaron Glenn say that he wants to be the Jets. Yes. The Jets need to draft a quarterback. I agree. I want the New York Jets to draft the quarterback. My favorite quarterback for them to draft is Jackson Dart in the second or third round. He's probably going to go up, though. He's probably going to go up. We all know the Jets want Aaron Glenn. We know that Aaron Glenn also wants the Jets, which is big. We need a tight end. No matter who our quarterback is, we need a safety blanket of a reliable tight end. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Rucker didn't really develop into anything, let's be honest. Kenny Yeboah, and then Conklin's free agent. We don't really have a tight end. We don't. So that is definitely going to be a position of need in the draft and free agency and the trade market. 100%. J-Dawg, what's up, bro? Jackson Dart going 10-10 if he tests well. Top 10, you mean? Damn. You think Dart is a first rounder? I think that Dart has a chance to skyrocket up the draft boards if he performs well at the Senior Bowl and the Combine. Like, he has the intangibles to do it. When you look at his tape, man, but the problem with Jackson Dart, which is why I think he fits the Jets, is he's a project. And that's why I want to keep Aaron, draft Dart, let Dart sit and learn, and let him develop. That's what I want. The one thing about Jackson Dart is he needs development, and that's okay. Not every, he's raw. Let him sit behind Aaron. Yeah, baby. 100%. 100%. That's why I look at it like that, man. So, we'll see. A lot is on the line for these New York Jets this cycle because We're coming off one of those disappointing seasons of our lives. Abdul Carter's the only player I see as a sure thing. I love Abdul Carter, but he's not going to be available. He's going to go top 3 for sure. Right? Did you want Ben Johnson? I mean, I'm sure everyone did. I'm on record, even months ago, I said, I'm not sold on Ben Johnson like other people are. I think I'm not saying he's going to bust at Chicago. I think him with Caleb Williams is going to be fun to watch. But talk about Adam Gase vibes. That gives me Adam Gase vibes. Ben Johnson, glorified offensive coordinator. Nothing to take away anything from Ben Johnson, but I think that there's a lot of hype around him. And I said this months ago before I even found out he declined to be with the Jets. So we'll see. Todd Monken and Joe Brady will be good head coaches. Yeah, the Jets did not interview either of them. We requested Joe Brady. He did not interview with us, though. And he coached under Adam Gase, too. Great. He is the next Gase. Point proven. Point proven. Aaron Glenn is a guy who, yes, he knows what he's talking about. He declined the Jets job because of Aaron Glenn, point blank. Yeah, and also we found out that Ben Johnson, he was intrigued by the Chicago Bears job last year, but the Bears job wasn't open last year. So that's why he stayed. He's like, yeah, they're going to fire Matt Eberflus. And Chicago probably knew that Ben Johnson wanted them, so they fired Eberflus knowing, like, yeah, Ben Johnson's coming. Now, this would be absolutely best case scenario. I'm going to go out there and say, no, he's not, because that would be historic. And all of a sudden we are elite, but that would be crazy. I'm not going to sit here and be delusional. Like, yeah, Aaron Glenn's the next Mike Tomlin, guys. Come on. No, come on. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic here. He is a homegrown player, and he played with the New York Jets in the Herm Edwards era. I can see this happening, bro. Thank you, Tyrone. You see the vision. He played under Bill Parcells. He played under Herm Edwards. Come on, man. I'm down for it. Ben Johnson is the nerdy, brainy X and O's guys that makes it perfect OC, but not a head coach. Bingo. This is why Ben Johnson scared me. I think people need to realize what qualifies you as a head coach is not your job as a coordinator, which is why I love Aaron Glenn, because I'm not just looking at what he did in Detroit as a DC. I'm looking at his entire career. Successful NFL player, 3-time Pro Bowler, personnel scout, quality control coach, assistant, positional coach, you name it. He's done it all. He's been around a rebuild. He's been around it all, man. Glenn knows what it's like to be in the New York Jets. Yes, he does, Sebastian. Great point. When are we expected to hear something? So yesterday, the Bears hired Ben Johnson at like 3 in the 3 o'clock hour. I think that if the Jets hire him, it could happen right now. It could happen in the next hour. It could happen in 2 hours. Could happen in 3 hours. Could happen tonight. Or we find out that the interview didn't go well and they decided that the Jets and Glenn are parting ways. It's not a guarantee that they're hiring him, but I mean, come on. Every single person in the media is talking about it like it's a done deal. AG is the highest quality candidate we will interview in this cycle. They are waiting to announce it during the huddle. Yeah, that's my prediction. During BetUS TV's The Huddle is when it's going to happen. Also, I do Bleacher Report on Tuesdays for the Knicks at 5. So I definitely expect them to hire him while I'm on Bleacher Report talking about the New York Knicks. I can see that. Hire Glenn and bring back Gase. What are you saying? If the Jets play Chicago next season, the Jets have to make sure they beat Ben Johnson. Nice. I don't think they're facing off. Well, folks, another name that we have to start talking about is Lance Newmark because he's linked to the Jets as the GM to pair up with Aaron Glenn potentially. Not a guarantee, of course, but we'll see. Jermaine Johnson sent out a tweet saying, had a dream last night about my first big play back, man. I really love it. Can't wait. Oh, man, I can't wait to have you. Can't wait. So I'm noticing there's a civil war amongst us. There is a civil war amongst us Jets fans right now. What do you guys think? Most people, I think, want Aaron Glenn. I mean, let's look at the poll. Let's look at the poll. The poll says 80% of you guys want him. That's 376 votes. Guys, there's 393 votes, but only 120 like buttons smashed. Hit the like button for the boy, man. What are we doing? Come on, man. There's a chance that we get a new coach today. We're on the Aaron Glenn watch. Hit that like button right now. Smash it. Smash it. But appreciate you, brother. All you guys appreciate it. Hit the like button. I really hope that I'm live when this happens. I really hope I'm live when this happens. Bro, think about the Detroit Lions, though. Like, their entire coaching staff is about to get plucked away. You know that Dan Campbell's scrambling. Who's their next offensive coordinator? Who's their next defensive coordinator? That's going to be interesting to see where they go. Smash the like button with all your Jet might. Show some love to the best. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that, man. How did the Patriots and Bears pass on the next great coach? Who? Glenn had no problem getting into Branch's face. He will have no issue holding people accountable. That's another thing you love about it. Saleh 2.0. Saleh's biggest issue was holding his own players accountable. Aaron Glenn is someone that will do that. 100%. Again, we don't know if he's going to be here or not. I think we could all agree that it's going to be, but we'll see. Do you think Darnold is done in Minnesota, or would he stay there and hypothetically we get a trade from McCarthy? I don't think J.J. McCarthy's getting traded. There's a chance that they keep them both. They bring back Sam on a one-year deal, franchise tag him or something, and keep J.J. I don't know. Taking receipts when Glenn fails. Okay. So you're going to blame the Jets for Mike Vrabel going to the Patriots when Mike Vrabel was obviously everyone's number one target. You're going to blame the Jets for Ben Johnson wanting to go to the Bears for 3 years or 2 years now and not wanting to go to the Jets. So you're basically taking receipts when Glenn fails. Now, my question to you, number one, are you a Jets fan? And number two, are you rooting for Aaron Glenn to fail, or are you rooting for him to succeed? Because it seems like you rather him fail to prove yourself right than the Jets actually found their head coach. And that's what I just can't relate to, man. Not saying it's you doing this, but there are fans out there that rather be right than see the Jets succeed. Like, I don't get it. If you're a Jets fan and you do not want Aaron Glenn to be the head coach and he's hired, are you going to root for his downfall to see that I was right? See, I never wanted him. I know ball. Is that what you care about? Being right? Who cares about being right? Not everybody's right. I'm not always right, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Come on. Like I said, if you're a Jets fan, I'm never going to tell you how to fan, but this is how I fan. I'm a Jets fan, whoever wears our JETS brand, whoever wears the green and white, I root for. I completely go down. I defend. I will go to war for. Not to say I'm not going to critique them when they make mistakes and look bad. That's not the point. But you're telling me there's people out there that's is rooting for people's downfalls. And I'll make another example. I said this at the top of the show. If the Jets bring in Justin Fields as their quarterback, I do not want Justin Fields. I see people talking about him. Oh, Justin Fields, we should get Justin Fields. I don't want anything to do with Justin Fields. But if the Jets bring in Justin Fields, I'll be rooting for him. I'm not going to root against him to prove that I was right, that we shouldn't bring him in. I'm not going to do that. Come on. What kind of Jets fan am I? And I'll be honest with you guys. Some of you may not believe me, but I did not want Zach Wilson. And you may be wondering, you don't want Zach Wilson, but you were talking such great things about him. Yeah, because he became a Jet, so I got to talk about him and hope that he plays well. But in the pre-draft process, I wanted the Jets to keep Sam Darnold and build around him, not draft Zach Wilson. But would you guys rather me, oh, the Jets should have kept Sam, oh, screw Zach, I was right all along. Like, no, I can't do that. Come on, man. I will never tell you how to be a fan, but I'm just telling you how I fan. Right here. That's what it's about, bro. Bills fans endorse the Glenn hiring, and I love that. My favorite part about the Aaron Glenn hiring is that our division rivals are downplaying it. I don't want them to think that we're doing anything good. I want the Jets to emerge from the darkness and come out of nowhere. Come on. That's respect. Got to stick up for the boys in green. Whether we like them or not, they are part of our family. Bingo. Bingo. Now, folks, as we all know that this show is always being powered by BetUS, and there's interesting odds that I want to talk to you guys about on BetUS Sportsbook. Will Aaron Rodgers retire before the 2025 season? It's favoring saying that he won't retire, according to BetUS. Interesting. Also, Aaron Rodgers' team, if not the Jets next year, he's favored to go to the Raiders, Steelers, the Niners, and the Seahawks, and the Saints. Where do you guys think Aaron Rodgers could end up if he leaves the Jets? Also, is he going to retire or not? If you guys want to sign up for BetUS, definitely go take advantage of that 150% bonus on your first deposit, up to $2,000, folks. Big time shout out to BetUS for being the proud sponsor of Jets Media all off season long, man. Interesting. It's under the NFL Specials tab if you want to sprinkle some cash on Aaron Rodgers bets, because that's going to be the next domino to fall for the New York Jets after we hire our head coach and our GM. I think it's going to be this. This is why it's the favorite. Minus 150 is the favorable odds. I don't think he's going to retire. There's no way. But there's a chance that he does. I mean, you look at the Pat McAfee show, it seemed like what they know is that the Jets are going to move on from him. Crazy. Zach Rosenblatt said, watch out for Clint Kubiak for offensive coordinator. Is that so? Let's see. All right, here it is. Zach Rosenblatt on X says, a name in the mix to be the Jets OC for Aaron Glenn if he's named head coach, Clint Kubiak. He's also in the mix for the Seattle OC job, spent 2024 calling plays for the Saints. In addition to Scott Turner and Nick Caley, Connor Hughes said, will be others considered too. How would you guys feel about Clint Kubiak being the Jets OC? And if you missed it, the other guys that the Jets are considering outside of Clint Kubiak, according to Connor Hughes, is right here. How do you guys feel about them? Nick Caley, Scott Turner, other names to watch out for. So that's 3 names we found so far that could be potential guys that the Jets bring in as the OC. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about Clint Kubiak as the Jets OC under Aaron Glenn if he is hired? Interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. Let me know in the chat if you like that or not. Do you like that or not? I'm going to send out this tweet real quick just to update the people. Make sure you guys follow me on X if you don't already. Another name that is rumored to be linked to the Jets OC under Glenn is Clint Kubiak. I feel like that's a popular name that a lot of people actually like. I'd be okay with Clint Kubiak. How do you guys feel about it? I personally think it would be great. Because you think about the offensive coordinator job is probably the most important position on the coaching staff. He's 37 years old, son of a head coach, right? How would you guys feel about that? I believe he closes in on the... So he's actually in the race to be the Seahawks offensive coordinator. I think that's a good, interesting name. Let me put it on the screen. So, I like it. Clint Kubiak, baby. So, Clint Kubiak is a guy who is the offensive coordinator for New Orleans, 37 years old. He was an offensive quality control coach for Texas A&M. He was the offensive quality control coach for the Minnesota Vikings back in 2013. He was the Kansas Jayhawks college wide receivers coach. He was an offensive assistant for the Denver Broncos in 2016 to 18. He was a quarterbacks coach back for the Vikings in 2019. He was the Vikings offensive coordinator in 2021. In 2022, he was the pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Broncos. And in 2023, he was the pass game coordinator for the 49ers. And now, last season, he was the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. So that's his resume, for those wondering. Seems like he's pretty qualified for the job. A lot of experience. His father, Gary Kubiak, could definitely help out. Rich Cimini tweeted something on X. What did he tweet? What you got to say, Rich? Aaron Glenn was busy yesterday reaching out to potential staff members and seeking advice from some of his league contacts. Per sources, meanwhile, in D.C., the Commanders are bracing for the possibility of losing Lance Newmark. Some GM candidates already know they're out of the mix. I don't know, man, but this sounds like it's happening, man. I mean, come on. Come on. It sounds like it's happening, folks. It really, really does. The dominoes are falling, JT. You know it. The dominoes are falling. Oh, man, I hope it happens soon, though. We really need a strong coaching staff with a rookie head coach for real. Absolutely. 100% Jet Life. 100%. AG for head coach. Keep A-Rod another year. That's going to be the next domino after we hire our next coach and GM for sure. I'm glad we have our Knicks. Absolutely, Sebastian. I'm going to be live on Bleacher Report today. Oh, wow. The Knicks play again tonight. I forgot. The Knicks play again tonight. Awesome. I'll be live on Bleacher Report today talking about the Knicks at 5 if you guys want to check me out. Also, I'll be live on Bleacher Report tomorrow for the Jets at 6. Chip Kelly for OC. Look at that. Jersey Jet. That's a name that no one really thought about. I like that. I like it. I think out of all the guys for the Jets OC job, Clint Kubiak is a name I would probably like the most. Yeah, that's my number one option. If there's a guy I want the Jets to bring in the most at OC out of the names that we listed already, it's Clint Kubiak is my number one. Make it happen. Damn it. Why are we waiting? The fact that Aaron Glenn was busy yesterday reaching out to people to build his staff, that tells me that the job is done, doesn't it? Why are you building a staff if you... Oh, man, I don't know. I'm getting a little antsy. You know what happens when I'm antsy? Standing desk activated. Uh-oh. Standing desk is activated. Man, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to miss doing my live watch parties. That is something I'm going to miss. I'm definitely going to miss that, man. Have you guys been enjoying the Roundtable cast? TD and I have been live for the Bills playoffs. Should we do that again this weekend for the championship game? Has anybody tuned in to the Roundtable cast for the Bills playoffs? Anybody? Man, standing desks are fire. I can now walk around. Look at that. I got freedom. I think that the Jets are going to announce the hire right when I am live on the huddle. That's my prediction. That's what I think it's going to happen. Woo! Rich, you wouldn't want Josh McCown as our OC. I don't think Josh McCown's ready to be an OC right now. Josh McCown wants to be a head coach, not an OC. We have a Jets hater in the chat. Boo! Boo this man! Boo! Screw you! Oh, you hurt my feelings with this. Wah! You hurt my feelings. Why no live? What do you mean, why no live? I am live right now, Stephen Love. What are you talking about? Rodgers will be the Jets quarterback next year. That's the next thing we'll talk about. Josh McCown said it's head coach, or he said, yeah, exactly. Hey, man, there's examples of quarterback coaches that's elevated to be a head coach early. Let's go. Oh, I want this to happen already. I want to see this happen already. I want it to happen while I'm live, bro. Come on. Oh. Come on now. So we're going to be live on the huddle at 3 o'clock. This is the Aaron Glenn watch party. We're waiting for it. We got over 300 plus live watchers on YouTube. Folks, do me a solid favor. Smash that like button and subscribe right here to Jets Media. We will be live and covering the New York Jets all off season. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor. Simply hit the subscribe button, baby. Hit that subscribe button. The goal is to get to 26.5K subs. 27K is next. So hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 200 likes. Hit the notification bell. And let's get it popping, baby. Let's get it popping. Come on. Come on, coach. Put me in. What position would I play if I was on the Jets? Richie, you're small. There's no way you play football. It's a joke. All right. Why you guys got to be haters? Why can't you guys... I played football in middle school. A little bit in high school. I was a flag football star. Come on. Give me a break. It's a joke, guys. Uh-oh. Breaking news, guys. Jets hire Richie from Jets Media. We're going to the Super Bowl. Damn, bro. You guys are haters. I'm a punter, water boy, the bench. Damn. Nah, man, I'm the head of media. How about that? I'm the head of media if they hire me. That's realistic. No. Anybody? Didn't you say you're going to miss the live shows? Steven, I know what you mean. I meant I'm going to miss doing the live reaction to game shows, right? I'm going to miss doing the live watch parties to Jets games because there's no Jets games until August. So that's what I was referring to. I'm going to miss being live for Jets games because we have a long way. Long way to go until that. Come on, man. It's the Aaron Glenn watch party. We're waiting. Put me in, coach. Do you think they have me on at One Jets Drive? Like, look at this. You think Brick Johnson's like, Dad, look at Jets Media. He's live waiting. Can you just announce it already? Can you hire Aaron Glenn? Come on, Brick. Show your pops that we need to hire him. Let's go, bro. How old am I? I'm 26 years old, turning 27 in 2 months. Turning 27 in 2 months. What are they waiting for? I don't know, to be honest. They got to figure out a lot of details before it happened. I actually thought there was breaking news. Sorry, Taj. Sorry. Very sorry. Richie, what makes this different from Bowles and Saleh? You know, it's a great question. I think the big difference is the Aaron Glenn's ties to the organization. Todd Bowles had no ties to the Jets. Robert Saleh had no ties to the Jets. Aaron Glenn was drafted here, was a great football player here. He was also a scout for this organization. That Todd Bowles and Saleh was never a scout. So I think that's the biggest difference if I had to say if there was one. Come on. Do we have a time frame? No, I think it's going to happen today, though. As a longtime Jets fan, does not take like 60 years to build a football team. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know when it's going to happen, bro. I don't know when. I hope soon, though. I think it's going to happen in the next hour or two. Oh, boy. Let's go. What do you guys think? What are the people saying? I'm on X right now. Looking around town to see who the Jets could bring in. I'm waiting for the news, bro. Hey, Richie, at least I can actually remember seeing Aaron Glenn play. Yes, I did not watch Aaron Glenn play. Domenico, you asked me how old am I? I already answered this question, but I guess I'll answer it again. I'm 26 years old. April 1st, 1998 is my birthday. I turned 27 in a few months. Richie, why didn't they interview McCarthy, Carroll, or Gruden? Nobody's interviewing Gruden. Gruden is working for Barstool Sports right now, okay? So enough about John Gruden. Maybe he gets a job down the line, but right now he's not taking interviews for anybody. McCarthy and Carroll, I don't understand. Maybe back then, maybe they weren't interested. I don't know. I know you're trolling with me, Danger Zone. You're trolling. I hope at least. Come on, man. Zane, love you, Richie. You're the mother effing man. Zane, bro, you're the man, bro. You got me hyped up. You're the man, bro. Come on. Woohoo! Let's go. I look 17 or 47. Well, my entire life I've been told that I look a lot younger than I actually am. So if you think I'm young, I look younger than 26, I wouldn't be shocked. I was delayed growth. I actually was sick when I was a teenager. I had to quit football, actually. I was on fun personal story while we wait for Aaron Glenn. I was on my freshman high school team in training camp, and I was sick. There was something wrong with me, and I wasn't growing. I wasn't hitting puberty. All my peers around me were growing. I wasn't. There was something wrong with me. So I had to go to the doctor, and at 14 years old, I got diagnosed with celiac disease. If you don't know what celiac disease is, it's a digestive issue. You're basically allergic to gluten. If you guys know what gluten is, yes, I'm gluten-free, not by choice, been gluten-free for over 10 plus years of my life. And I had to change my diet. And luckily I was able to hit my growth spurt in time, because when you eat gluten, when you have celiac disease, it delays your puberty. You don't absorb nutrients in your body, and your body's inflamed, and you're just sick. And then the next year, I get diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is another terrible disease. And Crohn's, I can say, is actually worse. I was hospitalized when I was in college. I had a steak, and that ripped apart my intestines. I had an obstruction. I'm just giving you guys some personal stuff you guys may not know about me. In high school, in college, I was hospitalized. I had an obstruction. If you don't know what an obstruction is, it's when your intestines literally close. And my intestines closed, and my food was not digesting properly. I was in excruciating pain. I almost had to get surgery. But luckily, the steroids and the medicine that they gave me in the hospital worked. And then I left the hospital, went back to college, and then I relapsed and went back to the hospital again 2 weeks later. And at that time, I thought, like, this is my life now. Like, I'm going to be in and out of the hospital for the rest of my life. And it was a really dark time. This was back in college, like 7 or 8 years ago. And then luckily, there's a lot of healing that I went. I had a lot of different doctors. I went, the Western way. I went the holistic way. I had so many different doctors, so many different types of healings. And I've been on medicine, and I've been in remission now for 8 years. And if you don't know what remission is, basically the disease is contained. So I'm very fortunate that I'm healthy now. So all the news right now, I know people are saying you're sorry for me. I'm healthy. I've been healthy for 8 years, and just eating gluten-free, eat clean, focus on my health. So yeah, that's a little background story of my personal life while we wait for Aaron Glenn potentially get hired, for those interested. So, yeah, that was a tough time as a child of mine, a tough childhood. And you can even see it. Like, look, I'll show you guys an example. I will show you guys an example. If you guys saw my post of me the last time the Jets made the playoffs, that's exactly the time when this happened. Let me pull it up again. Here it is. Let me see if I could find it, because there's a picture of me at the Jets game. The last time the Jets made a playoff game. Let me see if I can find that picture. Appreciate all the kind words, guys. That's a little side story, but I've been on medicine ever since, and I've been able to find alternate ways of healing and focusing on another key component of my health, though, is I'm really deep into meditation. I meditate daily. I'm also certified in breath work. I'm also a certified yoga instructor. Yoga has changed my life. It's another part of me that you guys don't know about me. I read a lot. I'm really into self-study. I'm certified in breath work. Like I said, I practice meditation and breath work. That helps a lot with what I have to go through as well. That's another part that I have to say. But yeah, here is the picture of me. This is the last time the Jets. And if you saw this picture, and if I asked you guys, I'm actually going to ask you right now, how old do you think I am in this picture? I don't know if it's going to focus. How old do you think I am here? Because I guarantee everybody will say the wrong age. Because I'll give you a hint. I look a lot younger than I actually am here. I believe I am 14 years old here. That's right when I was sick. That's right before I was able to hit puberty. Like, I look like I'm 8 years old, bro. I'm 14. This was 2012. This was the year that the Jets beat. That's when I was sick. This is like the year I got diagnosed. So that's how sick I was. And luckily, right when I started eating gluten-free, my body was able to respond. So yeah. I still look 14. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate that. Great. Appreciate the love. Nine. Is that a Chad Pennington jersey? That's actually not a Chad Pennington jersey. Who can guess what jersey I'm wearing? Who can guess what jersey I'm wearing? Come on, someone guess it. I know someone can. Bang! Santonio Holmes. There we go. It's a Santonio Holmes jersey. Come on, man. Tell me I wasn't a dog back then. Representing. What college did I attend? I attend SUNY Brockport, upstate New York, near Rochester. I actually went to college in Bills Mafia territory. All right? I was in Bills Mafia territory. That was the heart of the Sam Darnold versus Josh Allen era when they were drafted. And I went to 4 straight Bills-Jets games in Buffalo since I was up there. Sad story, Richie. Glad to see you were able to push through and live a healthy and happy life. Is that a Pennington or a Holmes jersey? Yeah, that was a Holmes jersey. And Frank, thank you so much for this kind words. I really appreciate that. Glad I can open up with you guys and give you a little insight of me. Yeah, some people got it right. Some people got it right. Yo, Richie, definitely look into Taoist Tai Chi. It's similar to yoga, but more of moving meditation. Harvard Medical School's book on it is good reference. It's helped me recover from a hit by a car. Well, first of all, I hope you're okay, John, from your hit by a car. That sounds brutal. Do I have another fun fact about me? I don't know if I have it, but my dad wrote a book, and John, my dad studied Tai Chi his entire life. Do I have a copy of it somewhere here? This is fun waiting for Aaron Glenn to get hired because we can start talking about other things. My dad wrote a book, an autobiography, and he studied Tai Chi his entire life. So I'm very in tune with Tai Chi as well, John. I know I have it. Hold on. All right, I can't find it. But yeah, my dad's book, interesting read. It's on Amazon, so I'll show you it. And I blame my dad for being a Jets fan, by the way. Thanks, Dad. My dad's book is pretty interesting because I don't know. I'm not sitting here selling my dad's book, but for those interested, this is my dad's book. I actually helped the cover. Look at that. I helped him with the cover of the book. It's self-published. It's an autobiography about his life of being a New York City salesman. And it's basically all about, he's a salesman in New York, but he has a whole other life that's internal that he talks about. And it's a great relationship with life, how he's able to go through his everyday journey. And it's funny because my story I just told you guys about is in here. It says, this book will help you embrace life as your teacher and partner, learn new and intensive teachings that could inspire unique growth, realize the profound potential of the energies in the human body. Yeah, my dad is a fascinating figure. So, fun fact about him. But yeah, there's Tai Chi in there as well. My dad was a Giants fan. I chose the New York Rivals. Look at that. That's crazy. In case anyone's interested, I put the link in the chat. Wow, that's a long link. That's a crazy long link. Why is it so long? Are you on board of giving Justin Fields? No, I'm not on board with that. I'm not. I don't want Justin Fields, personally. But if he's hired, I'm rooting for him. Come on. For real, awesome. Tai Chi. I have some excellent instructors, OG students of Master Moy. Oh, that's awesome. I'll look for your dad's book. That's great. I love that. Also, folks, if there's anybody that's from the Long Island area, pull up to one of my yoga classes. I teach yoga twice a week. Pull up. I teach yoga on Long Island, New York, twice a week. Excuse me. I teach basically the type of yoga I teach. It's more about the mind-body connection, connecting to the present moment, focusing a lot on your breath and connecting your breath with every movement. It's a great way to get present and remove yourself from the external world, right? Where we get lost. And I tell this, I say this on my shows all the time. I would not be able to survive as a Jets fan and a Jets content creator without my practice of meditation, because that's what grounds me. Basically, the whole idea of meditation, it's not to turn off your brain. It's to be able to observe your own thoughts, right? Be able to sit back and observe, because we have all these thoughts that if you fixate on one specific thought, say it's an anxiety-driven thought, it can spiral out of control and you slip into a depressive state of mind. Even the good thoughts can spiral you into this state of even panic, right? So the type of practice I teach in my yoga classes is, we go through a deep meditative practice. We do deep breath work. I connect you to your depth of the breath, because a lot of people are trapped upstairs when you breathe, right? We're like breathing too much up here. You got to breathe from the belly. You got to breathe down below. The breath begins in the belly and it rises up into the chest. So I kind of ground the breath work. And I'm telling you right now, if there's anybody I know who needs breath work, it's Jets fans, bro. Oh, I'm telling you, bro, we live in an anxiety state. You see our Jets fan base right now going after each other like, man, relax and breathe. How about that? So, yeah, I teach twice a week, and I got a lot of students coming by, which is great. That's my secondary life that not a lot of people know about. You should do a live stream of your yoga meditation classes, give access to those who pay for a session. Just a thought. Yeah, man, I thought about it. There is part of me that wants to start making content on yoga, but I don't know if I want to blend my Jets world with my yoga world, because I know they don't really align. Even though I can make it blend, because I believe that yoga and that type of practice is only going to benefit everybody, because all we do is get anxiety with the Jets every single day with the Jets. So, yeah. We'll see, man. Maybe one day. In the offseason, this is something I can do. They're talking contract right now, possibly. Good college, Brockport. Yeah, man, it was a good college. I can say I enjoyed it. Hey, Richie, is it taking so long to hire Aaron Glenn because his Madden rating is so low? That's possible, bro. It's possible. Let us meet Dad. I actually had my dad. Does anybody remember the YouTube video I made with my dad? I have a video on this channel with my dad. What was it called? Oh, yeah, here it is. Now, watching the video now probably won't be a good idea. But we did make a video. It was right after Aaron Rodgers got injured. And it was a time of us Jets fans, like, we're all just in a state of depression. Let's be honest. When Rodgers tore his Achilles, our state of depression was to the roof. So my dad came to my studio that I had at the time. And, we kind of just talked about, his book. Of course, we talked about his book a little bit. And how his book kind of correlates to Aaron Rodgers. And, we kind of went into a whole long thing. So that's my dad there. We talked about a lot of crazy stuff. And if you watch it back, knowing where the Jets are at now, it's probably going to be like, yeah, I mean, he didn't really have any impact on the Jets. But, we were trying our best to push some type of positivity at a time of bad stuff. Your dad is awesome, Richie. I love that video. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. What's up, Rich? Let's get Glenn and draft Dart. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Love it. True Jets fan pain, LOL. Poppy, appreciate the super chat. And NY Jets Indy, I appreciate you as well, brother. Got to Jets Media to meet Pops. Hell yeah. Hennessy met Pops. Appreciate you, bro. All right. The huddle is going to start soon. So if you guys want to come follow me over to the huddle, if you guys don't know what the huddle is, it's a live show that I do every weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. EST. It's live on a different YouTube channel, live 3 p.m. We talk all things NFL across the league, not just Jets related, not just AFC East related, but it's me, Dan Mitchell, and TD Finns talk. So if you guys want to come through for this episode, I feel like there's a chance that we'll see Aaron Glenn get hired while we are live on the huddle. So I am going to have to wrap up the show here soon. Richie has 10 jobs. Couldn't be more accurate. Really couldn't, bro. I overwhelm myself with work. I overwhelm myself with work. I have so many responsibilities, but guess who gave me these responsibilities? Guess who gave me these jobs? Me. So I can't complain. I'm the one assigning myself all these types of stuff. So I'm just trying to make it, trying to live the dream. And I'm very fortunate to live my dream right now because I don't know how I'm here. Honestly, all I'm doing is just doing what I love, and it's working. So we'll see if it continues. As long as I can, man. As long as I can. Make sure you take vacations in between. It's hard because when the Jets season was done, I was like, all right, I could take a breath. And then all of a sudden, the Jets are interviewing the entire planet Earth for head coach. And there's not a lot of time to vacation, but I am going to Costa Rica with my family in April. And that's actually the week before the NFL draft, which is not a great time. It's hard to find a pocket of time for vacations. I'm going to be in Costa Rica a week before the draft in April. So that'll be a good time to unplug, but I got to make content before the draft, right? Oh man, it's tough. It's tough. All right, folks, I will be on the huddle in a jiffy. Another shout out to BetUS for being the proud sponsor. Don't forget to check them out, guys. They have the odds for Aaron Rodgers to be the next to where he's going to go. Is he going to retire or not? On BetUS Sportsbook, the number one online sportsbook. Big shout out to them, as always, for being the main contributor of Jets Media. Can't thank them enough. And, of course, I'm on their website for BetUS TV, which is cool. You click the BetUS TV tab. You scroll down. You'll see me on their website, The Huddle Show. Here I am. Let's go, man. It's great. It's great stuff. So we'll see you guys there. Make sure you guys check me out. I will see you guys on the huddle. Much love to everybody in the chat. This was a great show. And I have a feeling that we'll see the official announcement about Aaron Glenn coming to the Jets very, very soon. That's my prediction. So we were live for an hour and 44 minutes. I was hopeful that it was going to happen while we were live on this show. Not the case. Maybe later. All right. Again, salute to the chat. I see you guys in the chat. Very active today. Very supportive today. Peace out. Love you all. I will see you in 10 minutes on the huddle. When I end the show, it should automatically redirect you to the show I'm going to be on in 10 minutes. So see you guys there. Peace out, everybody. Much love.